The worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach, and fitness expert, Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance. This is your chance where I sit down with today's tops in business, mindset, wellness, and success to help you master disruption and thrive.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.
Welcome to the WholeCEO with Lisa G. I'm your host. I'm thrilled to welcome a powerhouse in the intersection of science, storytelling, spiritual entrepreneurship. She's an award-winning chemical engineer turned visionary founder and Kingdom Business Network. She's helped thousands of people bring their stories to life and has revolutionized hair care technology with Her Beauty Regimen. She's been featured in Forbes, Essence, BET, and more. Welcome to the podcast, A Definition of Purpose-Driven Innovation. Chanel E. Martin, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Such an honor to be here.
I'm so thrilled to have you. I was reading up on your story, and it's really, really impressive to me. I love speaking to women about their stories and finding out how all the things you did brought you to where you are today. So let's jump in with a little background and find out from chemical entrepreneur engineering to kingdom entrepreneurship and beauty entrepreneurship. How did your story lead you to such a bold faith-led pivot in tech?
Oh my goodness. So I actually wanted to be an actress and a beauty pageant queen growing up. I did have the opportunity to be Miss Black Oklahoma City and participated in quite a few pageants. And I studied theater in performing arts school for middle school and high school. So I just knew I was going to be an actress of some sort. Well, under the direction of my mother, she felt like she wanted me to have a more stable, sure career. And I'm very grateful she did that because I would have never known what was possible. And she geared me towards science. I scored really high in science and math on my test scores, and she enrolled me in mathematics and STEM camps over the summer as a child in grade school. And that's when I found out about chemical engineering. And I found that engineers help to produce, manufacture, test, do quality checks on beauty products. And to me, a light bulb went off. I said, oh my gosh, I can be a scientist and I can still be in an industry or help lead an industry that I love. And so after that, I decided that I was going to be a chemical engineering major and went to college and got my master's degree, and the rest was history.
Wow, I love your story, and you have such a beautiful smile. I can see that whole beauty passion that we both share. And I want to talk about Her Beauty Regimen because you're merging tech, science, and beauty in a way that empowers women. What do you wish more founders understood about building products for the communities they represent?
Oh my goodness. So, one of the things that I've learned along my journey in all of the different entrepreneurial ventures is I found that more entrepreneurs need to be supported, affirmed, and platformed. And most of the time, when you're a beauty maker or a beauty creator, you're really good at producing a product or coming up with the concepts and the ideas, but maybe marketing you might lack in, or maybe you're a little self-conscious. You don't want to put yourself out there, or running advertising campaigns or speaking and doing those things. And so that could limit your visibility in the marketplace, especially up against bigger, more well-known brands. So I always had a passion for I'm not going to say the little guy or the smaller guy. I'm going to say the sleeping giant that needed someone to awaken them. And what better way to do that than to create a space where beauty entrepreneurs can sell their products and then they can sell them directly to the people who love them versus when you are going to an Amazon or even an Etsy that you think you're shopping for beauty, but then you get distracted. Now you bought headphones and some leggings, right?
Right. I mean, I can totally relate.
And so I wanted a space that was for beauty by beauty and to create curated experiences, customized solutions for women of all ethnicities that love beauty, that want to elevate and create their beauty regimen. And that's where the name comes from Her Beauty Regimen.
Wow. And when is that going to be launching?
We launch on July 15th of 2025. So depending upon when you're hearing this, we're either coming soon or you can go ahead and check us out on our website at herbeautyregimen.com.
That is so exciting. I really want to get back a little bit into your story because I know with your background of entrepreneurship, you also, along the journey, had 4 children. So, can you talk to our audience a little bit about what it's like? You're building your brand, you're working, and we all know the grind that is required. And how do you balance all of that?
Oh my goodness. So, very fortunate. I had all my children as an entrepreneur. So I realized the privilege that that was, meaning that I didn't have a maternity leave. I didn't have a 6 to 12 week time schedule that I had to hurry up, and I didn't have to work on anyone else's timeline or clock. So because of that, I realized the advantage that I had, and I wish more entrepreneurs would realize the freedom that they operate in. So that meant that I could cater my schedule around what worked for me and what worked for my family. And then I can also build a business that makes sense for me as a mom, as a wife. And when I first started entrepreneurship and had my first kid, I had no idea what I was doing. But I was determined that I was not going to allow me having children to stop what I was building. Because I saw, and I've talked to many women, the reason why they aren't where they want to be, they often say, oh, my kids, my kids, my kids. And I said, no, if I got to bring my kids along with me, we're going to make this happen. So with my first daughter, her name is Sydney. She's 11 now. I took her everywhere, and I breastfed, and I made baby food. So sometimes if I could take her, and we did a 5 city tour, and and this is with my first brand, my Ivana, that I helped to co-found. I took her, I think, on like three of the 5 cities. Like she was there with me,
Oh,
because I was nursing, and I remember there have been times where um, I'm nursing on one, I'm pumping on the other. I got a baby boppy. I got a phone. I got a laptop. Like I made an office space in the bed essentially. Now, of course, that's not a sustainable business model
right.
to be productive, but that was the mindset that I had. I was relentless at pursuing my goals. Now, of course, after having the second kid, I had to figure out different strategies because my kids are all about 2 years or less apart. So I had two babies at a time, at least 2 or 3 babies,
Oh my God.
right, or at least three toddlers, because I think at one point when my last child was born, my oldest was only 6. So if you can imagine
That's
what,
a lot of young babies all at once.
oh yeah, it was. But I'm gonna tell you what I did. So number one, I created a schedule that I worked when they napped or when they were preoccupied.
Got it.
And I did the important things then. So if I had to make phone calls, I would do it between 12 and 2. And I made sure that they were on a very strict routine. And so everybody had to go to bed, period. Like you had to go take a nap. I don't know what, maybe you didn't go to sleep, but you went and lay down.
Right.
And I gave myself that time. And even if they woke up early, I know some moms were like, if a baby whimpers, they run to go get them. I let my babies cry. I was like, nope, this is my time.
Right.
Um, and then oftentimes I woke up at 3 and 4 in the morning. I remember waking up at 4 in the morning to get some work done because I'm a morning person. Or sometimes I stayed up late I just would figure out when those moments were, and I would take advantage of the peace and quiet that we had. And that is really the strategy that helped me to get a lot of things done. And people would ask me, they would say, "How did you do that?" I'm like, "Well, I did all of that between 12 and 2." Now, here's the secret. When you say you're going to do a 12 to 2, it's not a 12 to 2 scrolling on the phone, looking at social
Right.
media, talking. No, it is a focused time block. And you'd be
Right.
surprised how much you can get done when you say, "Hey, I'm going to focus in this time block," and you'll get so many things done. And then finally, the last thing that I did, I do a lot of live streaming and broadcasting. And at first I used to get frustrated when a kid would pop up in the stream
Yeah.
asking for some snacks, right? So what I started doing was letting my audience know if I'm going to do a live stream, like, "Hey, you might have a visitor from one of my children. If you see them, can you just wave and say hi back to them?" I would incorporate that. I would talk to if I had to do a client call, and I would let them know if my kids were home because now they're all school age. But I would say, "Hey, I'm a mom. We are a mom-friendly business. You might hear a baby in the background." I just was transparent and I didn't try to hide the fact that I was a working mother. And those were the things that I did.
Well, there's so much to unpack there, but I really love for all of you entrepreneurs out there listening, the idea of focus time. And when you say you're going to focus, it's not scrolling, it is not making phone calls. It is just you have your most important tasks to do,
Hmm.
doing them. So you're like such a leader in that space of not making excuses. I hate to call having children excuses,
I know what you mean, though.
but there's so many people that say, this isn't my time. I'll do it when I'm finished having children and taking care of the family. And you are an exemplary model of not being one of those like work all the time, but just work in a very productive way of just really focused. Is
Hmm.
there any last parting words you want to tell our audience of entrepreneurs about how they can achieve success?
I just would say just be relentless in your pursuit of your goals and having faith. We didn't mention it earlier, but my faith has carried me through everything. I am a believer of God and Jesus, and I love them both. And I pull on the strength that I get from my Father, the Creator. And so when you don't have faith, it's really hard to be motivated to do anything because I have visions and dreams and goals that I know that my Heavenly Father has for me. And I feel like it's my duty and my responsibility as his child to produce at the highest level that I can produce while I'm still on earth. And so when I combine those things, I believe that God's going to make a way for me to figure out how to be who he called me to be. That's not for me to decide. I just need to put one foot forward and leave room for him to do the rest. And since I've been doing that, it looks like, how does she do it? And I'm just like, it's all God.
So it's the faith that drives you and obviously the ambition. And I really value your work-life balance, even though you're so driven to get up at 3 in the morning. A lot of people won't do that and work on focus time. I think you're an exemplary model of entrepreneurship with a balance of work-life integration, because obviously work-life balance doesn't exist, but
No.
integrate it, don't you, when you can?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I want to say this, like you said, there's no such thing as work-life balance, but also give yourself grace. Now, that was an area that I made a mistake in very early on. If I could point you guys in any direction, don't be so driven that you drive yourself in the ground. And I did do that at one point and suffered burnout. And I had to take a hard look at my life and decide that is this how I really want to continue to operate in the best years of my life with my children? And I made a decision. And so I started seeking therapy and figuring out what is it that I really want to do and what are my priorities. And so there can be an area where you can be overly ambitious, but I know what's important to me. I'm not so worried about things falling apart, and I give myself grace when grace is needed.
Well, congratulations on all your success and Her Beauty Regimen. Where can people find more of Chanel E. Martin?
Yes, I'm available at Chanel E. Martin on all platforms, or you can type my name in Google, Chanel E. Martin, and you can find pretty much anything you want on me. But yes, at Chanel E. Martin, Chanel like the perfume, like Coco Chanel, E as in Edward, and then Martin on every single platform. And I would love to connect with all of you.
Awesome. And Her Beauty Regimen.
Yes, you can go to herbeautyregimen.com, and we are HBR brand on all platforms. That's on YouTube, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram. And I'm excited for our launch and the new content we're going to produce.
Me too. Well, thanks for being a fabulous guest.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.